Okay.
Hi, so good afternoon. I'm Chad Hallett with Movement Mortgage, and today with me I got Mrs. Latana from the broker from Coldwell Banker Elite, King George, and broker of Colonial Beach office. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a very good day.
Good, good. I'm glad to hear it, and I'm very thankful that you were able to make it today and chat with me a little bit. Purpose of this interview is just to kind of get your take, because you've been in the business for so long, get your take on the current status of things and you know, what your company has to offer to different realtors and stuff, and why why they'd benefit from being part of the Coldwell Banker team. How long have you worked in real estate, Lieutenant?
I just celebrated my 25th year in real estate. My mother was a broker and got me into the business and encouraged me with my business degree to go into management. So again, 25 years in the business and 22 years supervising agents, reviewing contracts, and managing an office.
So you know a thing or two about what a contract should look like?
Little bit. I can,
Good.
look at them and review them in my sleep practically.
That's good. 25 years in the business. I'll have to remember not to try to pull the wool over your eyes then, I guess.
Well, it's something that is constantly evolving, so I'm constantly taking classes to stay up to date for the newest forms and trends in the market. So it's nothing that you can sit back on your laurels and coast, for sure.
Sure. Yeah, it's definitely one of those businesses that's constantly changing. What kind of different positions have you held since you first got licensed?
Well, I started off in my mother's firm, dual career for about a year and a half, and then went full time, and was starting to help her with the technology. Technology was just starting to really evolve in real estate. And then she encouraged me to get involved in the board of realtors and volunteer for committees. I was also encouraged to take my broker's license. So I was able to take all of those separate classes for 1 year and get my broker's license. She sold her company, and I was hired to be the managing broker for the Century 21 Team Real Estate. Later became the broker for Century 21 Battlefield in Colonial Beach and Oak Grove. So I managed 2 small offices there. And then later was hired by Kevin Bream to establish a new office in Dahlgren. And later we were acquired another office, so I've also managed the one in Colonial Beach.
Nice. Nice. And would you describe that as a rewarding experience to manage those 2 teams?
Very much so. I have very dedicated agents. I'm very picky about who I bring on. I want to make sure that agents are committed to excellence, education, learning, so that they can continue to give the best quality service to their clients and the most knowledgeable to protect their clients and themselves.
That's good to hear. And something I've noticed from working with you guys at Colonial Beach, out there at King George and such, well, both for you, is the difference. I used to always hear horror stories from realtors that would go to different brokers, and especially when they're brand new, and be promised, oh, I'll take care of you, I'll teach you how to do contracts, I'll teach you how to do this or that or the other thing. Well, then they get there, they get them, set in, paid their dues and all that jazz, and next thing you know, they're too busy to help out. And that's something different I definitely have seen with you, is that you make the effort to educate your guys, and if they have a question, they can call you anytime, no big deal. You'd rather have them do it right the first time than try to fix it on the back end.
Yeah, the first thing that they do is put my phone number on speed dial. Like I explained, especially to my rookies, I would much rather them call me on a Saturday afternoon and run a question by me than to make a mistake that would hurt them or their clients. So I sit down with most of my new agents, either in person or with Zoom, and we start with the buyer agency and the tenant agency. We do practice contracts and expand that using the technology that we use with zip forms, DocuSign, then putting those ratified contracts into transaction, the transaction room, DTR, so that I can review all their documents. We have the technology so that they can quickly email me and I can scan it. I have my iPad with me or my phone at all times so that I can look at them, look at what they're doing, and make recommendations. And it's not uncommon for a rookie to call me multiple times a week for advice and feedback and to bounce things off. And I want them to do that. I'm definitely at an age now where I don't have children at home in baseball or ballet or soccer. So I have the time to give my agents what they need. And I will give them as much training as they will give me the time to teach them. But they've got to come in and do it, you know, or do it remotely, which we can do now as well.
That's good to hear, and that's definitely a tactical advantage. Like you mentioned, not having small children at home allows you to be more flexible. Speaking of flexibility, what's probably, I don't know, the biggest changes that you've had to adapt to as far as COVID-19, both as a agent and as a broker, as the boss, and how you manage things and how you deal with your own personal transactions?
For the most part, I was amazed that we were prepared for something we didn't know was going to happen. With the technology that we have and the training that we give our agents to use it, using zip forms, DocuSign, Transaction Room, all of those tools were at our fingertips. We already knew how to use them. So it just was very easy to transition to do it instead of a small number of our clients, because so many of them do live out of the area, especially in the Colonial Beach area, or they're flying in or transferring in into King George and Dahlgren, to do that with more of our clients. So that part was fairly easy. It was a bit of a challenge, especially because most agents, although we're very strong personality types and we're used to talking, we're not used to talking on camera. And learning Zoom was something I had to spend hours learning the different formats, which type of program is the best one to use. We experimented with quite a few. And now I've been holding my sales meetings for the last 4 months on Zoom. I'm preparing for one tomorrow so that all my agents have access to them. I already have done a PowerPoint every month with a slideshow. I incorporated a lot of video because I like a little bit of humor to add to the meeting. So all of that is very easy to incorporate with Zoom. Maybe not as smooth as a live meeting, but I have quite a few dual career agents. So they've always needed that background stuff that I provide because I send it out to them afterwards. But now most of them can jump on for an hour and a half Zoom meeting and be with the rest of our group. We also, I also established a virtual coffee on Saturday mornings, which I greatly appreciated you coming into, since a lot of the times it had mostly the women for the coffees. But that was a very informal time to get them used to being on camera and talking with each other and listening to each other. So other than that, getting used to wearing a mask in the office when I'm outside of my office is a challenge to remember all the time, and with my clients, because most of my clients, I only take a few a year, are repeat clients, and they're more like friends. So it's very hard to put a mask on in front of my friends when I want to hug them and greet them and congratulate them at closing. That's been emotionally hard.
I've definitely felt that myself, because I was raised to, show respect, and in the sense of the Western civilization, how we do it, close but respectful, maybe a couple feet away, but with a firm handshake at the end of whether it's a friend, client, or whoever it is, end it with a firm handshake. And it's one of the many things we've lost recently. But I was definitely happy you had those Saturday coffee meetings, because part of this business is just to stay in touch and to nurture relationships that you have, and it's been very difficult the last few months. So I definitely provide a good opportunity for me and other realtors to kind of get to know each other better and stuff like that. And
I
balance.
think the agents that will be most successful will be those that embrace the training and the technology. And some of my agents have actually expanded their production because of it and have become more efficient with their time. They're not running the roads nearly as many hours as they were before because they're doing listing interviews through Zoom. The sellers are taking their phones and walking around the house and showing the agent the property and their concerns and asking for recommendations, and they can do it all and still keep the client and the agent safe.
That's absolutely right. And I think those people that step up and move on with the times are going to be the most successful. I've seen some people, not in your office, but some other people that I've worked with that kind of just went that lazy river approach, didn't really grow with the moment, didn't really get into the tech. And this is busy time. Rates are very, very low. It's summertime. People are ready to move. People are ready to get outdoors, make that change. The real estate market's hot. But
absolutely.
People have been like very slow for this time of year for them.
Yeah.
And it's been
Our sales are up, which is amazing during a pandemic. Yeah. There's, my top agents are selling more property than ever before. My rookies have all sold at least one property. One's done one closing as well as 3 rentals during this time. But they're working smartly and safely, and that's what's important.
That's good. So real quick, I know we're running out of time, but if you were at a conference or, I don't know, a trade show or something, and you had to speak to someone that worked for a different brokerage and you wanted to give them an idea of like, what's the big reason? Why should they join Coldwell Banker Elite? Why should they work at the King George office? What do you guys have to offer?
Personal training, but we also have, we have a large staff. We have 9 offices, about 275 agents. And we have key staff that specialize in training, in marketing, that can help them. I mean, this is on the local level. This is not, corporate's great, and we've got some great tools there, but locally, we've got that staff and training that is unsurpassed in our area. I recently did a survey with the other managers because we meet weekly and we text constantly. And I discovered that with our upper management, and this isn't even counting property management and the commercial division, but just the residential, our staff has over 234 years of experience in real estate. And that's just management, upper management, and the local managers. And out of that 234 years of experience, 149 years, that's almost 150 years of managing, supervising, brokering agents. That is a tremendous resource so that I know when I go on vacation, and if my agents can't get a hold of me because I'm on a cruise, I have another manager that is supervising, that are taking care of my agents and my agents' clients. The wisdom there is phenomenal. You will not see that in hardly any other, not only local, but state company. And it makes me very proud to be with this company, knowing that for a risk management perspective, everybody fears a client that's going to be unhappy and files a complaint at DPOR. But with our agents, with the training that they get and the risk management team that we have, it just gives you a feeling of peace to know that your career is long-term with a company that's been founded for 40 years, locally owned for 40 years, brick and mortar. It just doesn't get any better than that. And that's one of the main things I would want to tell a new agent. And then I would also tell them about the tools and resources that we have that, again, I feel is unsurpassed. But the people, you can't buy that.
Something I would point out to the people watching, if they're thinking about making a change, is, I've worked out of the King George office because Latana's gracious enough to have me. And never have I been there as your door been closed. Unless one of your realtors requests privacy during a conversation, your door is always open. That's big for me. Coming from the Army, most of our leaders, our commanders, have a open door policy. And that's important to open up the lines of communication. So you do have a problem, it doesn't have to escalate to complaint. You can
Absolutely.
hash it out up front. But yeah, that's definitely some good info. One last thing before we go, it's run out of time, but just real briefly, a little something on the local market for King George, Colonial Beach. You know, I've had some people ask me if they're, thinking about a second home in Colonial Beach, pros and cons. And then I have a lot of family. My family is country. And I know I've had some that looking to buy next to me in Spotsy, but Spotsylvania for you people that aren't local. But King George has a lot to offer. And people seem to ignore that east of 95 for some reason, but you get a lot of land for a decent price and some big boy homes.
We love King George. We lived outside of Colonial Beach for about 27 years and raised our family there, and it's got a lot to offer. It is, the Colonial Beach, Northern Neck, Westmoreland, it's affordable. First-time buyers can buy an entry-level home, usually under $200,000. The homes are smaller, but they're entry-level. But you also have a lot of vacation homes and retirement because the taxes are low.
Yeah.
And it's great, especially if you're in the city limits of Colonial Beach or some of the subdivisions. You're never more than 5 minutes from water. Whether it's beach areas or a boat ramp, you can ride around on your little golf cart and stop in at local art gallery, restaurants, ice cream, just lots of fun things to do, and still be very rural and safe and no more than an hour and a half to 2 hours from the Beltway.
Yeah.
Makes a perfect place for a getaway. And a lot of people that will buy vacation homes, second homes there, are now turning them also into Airbnbs. So it's a great rental potential for helping to pay for that second vacation home. King George is a little bit different. You've got wider spaces, larger lots, usually larger homes, but you're rural. And again, you're minutes away from the Harry Nice Bridge to jump over to Maryland and on up. The taxes are low. And what I love the most is that we don't have traffic. Maybe a little on 301 on Fridays, but unless you get behind a school bus or a tractor, you're not going to hit that stop and go traffic and light after light. And right now, especially under COVID, we're expecting to have a huge boom through the summer and into the fall as people decide that they want to have more space.
Yeah.
They want to be able to get out of their houses and have a yard. And I've seen more wading pools in the backyards of my subdivision and hop yard than I've ever seen. And it's wonderful to watch the families get outside and the dads walking with the kids. I saw a father and daughter running in the subdivision, jogging along, and it's enjoyable to have that space to do that. And still only be 15 minutes from Fredericksburg if I want to go to a nice restaurant for dinner.
That's what I love about King George is that the land is more affordable. I can have that farming
Much more
aspect that I want to, but I can still jump on 95. So if I'm a commuter and I'm going to shoot up to Alexandria, DC, or Woodbridge, wherever my government job may be, 95 is right there. And then you can jump into one of those carpool deals and just shoot right up on the hot lanes.
And if you love the water, we're between the Potomac River and the Rappahannock. We're right there, right in the middle, and it is beautiful to see the nature, the deers, the wild turkey, and the eagles. It's been very enjoyable to live in the country and yet be close enough to major airports and shopping and restaurants.
When my family first relocated to Virginia several years ago due to a military move, we went to Colonial Beach, and mostly just because I have a love for history. That's George Washington's birthplace. But what stuck out to me was like, for a family aspect, it's like, wow, man, this beach is rocky. And then I had the opportunity to go out and visit your Colonial Beach office last month. And I went down there and walked it with my wife, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is great. You know, beautiful sandy beach, plenty of space, plenty of parking. You had restaurants right there on the water, food trucks, you know, different things to enjoy. So it's definitely an enjoyable little community, like you said. And I don't think, you know, it's not big price yet, you know, it hasn't exploded. So
very affordable.
Yeah.
And the cottages are adorable. We've seen some wonderful renovations of cottages. And it's just a fun time. Now, this year we have been hampered with COVID. So most of the parades and the festivals have been canceled, you know, but it's still a quaint town to ride your bicycle or to walk, or to golf cart. You can rent a golf cart, come down for the weekend and just get to know the people and wave. But in a normal year, they have something almost every single weekend. Between, you know, I remember one weekend there was live music in a 3-block radius at 4 different locations. Live local music. I love it.
That's good. Good deal. Well, Latana, that's all the time I have, but thank you very much for giving up some of your busy day to speak with me and kind of spread the good word about King George, Colonial Beach, and of course, Coldwell Banker Elite, the company that you're a broker for. So,
well, thank you. You're always welcomed here, and I'm glad to take a few minutes away from my normal computer reviewing contracts and paperwork and getting ready from tomorrow's sales meeting. But thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Anytime. If you folks want to contact her if you're interested in making a change in brokerages or just have a real estate-based question, you need some representation, I'm going to go ahead and tag her email address in the caption for this video. So
please do.
To you. That's it. Thanks again.